Call to a 9 here, and there's one thing that I grasp on for the channel, and that's honest opinions on stuff. If you look around gun community or gun culture, there's a lot of people that are going to try and sell you on products. That's just the way it is. That's how they make their living. It's the way that they reference themselves. Here at this channel, nobody pays us. Barely anybody gives us stuff. And then when they try and put some kind of foresight into this product and say, we need that good, I'll tell them no. You're gonna get my honest opinion, and I don't want to be beholden to companies. I like to be honest and true. And if your product stinks, then your product stinks. That's just the way I feel. That way we can get a good gauge on stuff. I bought products in the past that other YouTubers said were great. Buy 17 of these things. I don't know. And you bought that product and it's not been great. I've had those troubles. The infomercials, your grandma, your mom bought this pan that doesn't scratch it, it scratches. It's like one of those bits. The same thing goes on in the hunting community, in hunting culture. People will try and upsell you on whatever little piece of equipment or whatever scent that are out there and tell you it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And again, that's one of the things that I like about my channel is nobody gives us stuff. Nobody's paying us to give it 5-star reviews. We're doing this on our own, and we're taking the chances, and we're using our own money. That's basically what it is. Now, I am grateful for the people that are on my Patreon. I am grateful for people that just donate to the channel because they want to help out. They want to keep things going. But unfortunately, I work a 9-to-5 job. I don't do this full time like a bunch of other YouTubers. I don't depend on YouTube money. I get very little as it is anyway. So I have to go out and work my job, and I put a lot of my paycheck. Trust me, ask my wife. Put a lot of my paycheck into into this YouTube channel, into my YouTube channel, man. And sometimes it pays off, and sometimes it doesn't. Let's just put it that way. So the product that I want to talk about today is EverCalm. Now, if you have like the Pursuit channel or something like that, EverCalm's been on there. They've been on there quite a bit, and I've used their product in the past. Now, it comes in a couple of different forms. This is like the deodorant stick, but don't use it as deodorant. Or, you might get mounted by a buck. But, they have an aerosol version, and they have the stick version. That's the only thing that I've seen readily available in my area. This one that I'm using here is the deer herd scent. So this kind of gives them the feeling of this is a safe kind of area, like a Democrat. This is a safe space. This is where people come to congregate and, I don't know, talk out their deer problems. I don't know. But this is kind of that aspect that this scent takes. And I've seen it work. I used it a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, I didn't get a great shot on this doe, and I shot under her. But she came through that same area, and she wasn't nervous. Her head wasn't on a swivel, and she didn't blow or anything like that until she got out of that area. And then she started to put her head on a swivel, and then she started to get just a little bit goofy on me. And she kind of turned, and as she kind of turned, I took a shot, and she jumped it, and she got away from me. But I seen it work in that kind of capacity. Now, I will tell you, this stuff is not cheap, especially the aerosol can. It's not cheap. And again, this is a budget channel. We're working on pennies here. We're working on pennies. So buying these products, man, it costs money. A lot of people don't depend on scents. A lot of people don't use them. What I've been using this for, since in my last video, I talked about my experimental tree. Before I even put this around me or anything like that, use it as a cover scent, I put it on this tree. Now, this is a corridor that sometimes the deer use. They don't use it often, but they do use it on occasion, especially if the weather is bad. So I put this on a tree. And I'll show you the picture here. I put it on the tree. You can see the white line on that tree. So I just took this. It's just, again, it's just like deodorant stick, but don't use it. So I, pushed the little button here, and it came up, and I just put a line there, and I put a line down on the bottom of this down tree. And I'm like, I'm going to put a camera on it, and I'm going to see what this is about. Now, if they're just walking past it and they're not noticing it, then I'm not going to use this. And, good for you. You got $20 from me, because this stuff is $20. There's a couple different applications, but you can buy a double pack. You can buy this deer herd scent and then rutting buck. You can get in a double package, and it's $40 and change to get this stuff. But the results have been really good in this experiment that I'm doing, and I've noticed a lot of deer, and I've noticed some deer that I've never seen before come into this spot. Now, again, I have made arrangements for them to give them a window of my opportunity to shoot these deer, now that I see where they're coming from, and now that I see that they're spending more and more time in that spot. And that's very encouraging. Now, unfortunately, the weather's been wonky. It's been hot. It's been cold. We've had a couple of frosts. Stuff has froze a little bit, but now we're jumping back in that time where it's 60, 70 degrees, and that's an odd time of year. This is November, but I've been seeing a lot more deer visit this spot. I did have a picture of a deer actually bedding next to the tree that I just showed you. Unfortunately, I couldn't find that picture. I don't know if I deleted it, but I'm going to roll in a bunch of other pictures. And again, there's been some other deer that have been in this vicinity that I've never seen before. And that's encouraging. If I can pull new deer from somebody else's area, that's a plus for me, not for the other people, but it's a plus for me. Even to the point where I seen the strong 6, that's what I call him, the strong 6 show up, and he's bigger than he used to be. So again, I look at that, and I'm kind of thinking, the rut's on, because he wasn't that big. His neck's a little bit swollen, not to a big capacity, but I've really noticed, and he's been coming around that area quite a bit too. So I don't know if this it doesn't list any ingredients on it. Maybe I should look at that package. But again, it's almost like this is kind of like a doe bedding spot, or it's like a congregation where deer can have a safe space, I guess, and feel kind of at home. And again, I'll roll these pictures in. There's been a ton of deer visiting this spot, more than usual. The only problem, again, the temperatures have been kind of weird, they've been wonky, is that it's always at night. Again, this is a corridor that they travel through to get to food. And what they've been doing here lately is really early in the morning. I'm talking like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're going out to that food source, they're eating, they're traveling back, and they're going to go bed, because in that time, it's almost 50, 60 degrees, and these deer are trying to gear up for winter. They're putting on a lot of pounds, they're putting on that weight to get themselves through to the winter and beyond that. But I have seen this stuff work. I've used it in the past. Again, it's kind of pricey. It's up there. A lot of people don't like to use scents. A lot of people don't believe in them. This is a product that I see that I could possibly use. I could possibly use this product. Now, it's gone through some rain, and it's gone through some cold spells, and it's gone through some fog and some damp conditions, and the deer have still come back to that spot. Now, I don't know if, the moisture is getting on to this stuff and then, re-energizing it and making that smell intensify again. I'm not quite sure. Again, these people ain't paid me. They ain't paid me nothing to say. That's why I know little to nothing but my own experience with this product. Again, is this going to save you from eating tag stew? I couldn't tell you, man. Your deer herd is different from my deer herd. And, and it's different in this area and that area. So I don't know how receptive your deer are to a little bit of human scent or to a lot of human scent. I know there's some areas around in my county where people roll down their car window and the deer are eating eating out of their hand, like, they're jingling cups like the bums, and they're getting a handout. There's some deer like that. They're almost domesticated. These deer here, they're tolerate the human scent to a certain degree. If you start walking up to them or anything like that, these things are gonna bolt. They're gonna jet, and they might not come back. And again, this stuff is making them come back. They're making them visit that spot a little bit more. Again, I've cut a shooting lane in there, and it's about 25 at 30-ish yards to this spot. It's gonna be, I can maneuver myself to get a shot in that spot. So hopefully this will help me out. Again, I don't know if that's gonna end your woes or your worries. I couldn't tell you. Again, it's not cheap. Are you willing to spend that money? Some people, again, they don't use these scents, especially the older generation. They're smoking cigarettes in their stand. They're shooting deer and not using this stuff. But again, it's all based on your opinion. And with the pictures that I've showed you, and this stuff's been on that tree for quite some time, and I can see it from my tree stand. I know it's still there. Again, it's just the weather's not quite cooperating with me to the point where I know these deer are going to come back to that spot while I'm in that stand. Again, I work a 9-to-5 job. This isn't what I do all my time in life. I'm working night shift here and there. I'm doing some other things, so I don't have an opportunity to sit in a deer stand or sit in a blind all the time like other YouTubers. Wish I had that, but I don't. I'm not that fortunate. But again, these people didn't pay me for this, to review this product. Nobody sent it to me. I bought this out of my own free will. I've bought it in the past, and I had a couple of extra bucks. This is different than, the dough pea that you pour out, that Tinks has. And I'll mention them too, because I've used Tinks products before, and they've worked. I've shot a doe with the Tinks stuff before. Again, there's a lot of different gimmicks. You have the doe calls. You got the doe calls, you got the bleats and all that jazz. You've got the rattle bags, you've got the grunt calls. And everybody's grunt call is better than this grunt call, and everybody's rattle bag is better than that. Some people don't even use the doe bleats. I've shot a doe with a doe bleat. I almost tricked that one yesterday on a doe bleat. Sometimes you got to kind of resort to this kind of measures. Some people, they pour corn on the ground, and that's how they shoot their deer. I mean, there's all kinds of different methods to do this, folks, to harvest these animals and fill your freezer. This is one that I'm kind of looking at. Unfortunately, we can't bait here in the state of Indiana, but this seems to be getting them interested in sticking around. Now, are they going to stick around forever? Again, I don't know how long this stuff lasts, but those pictures have been there for a hot minute, and to the point where bucks have visited that area. And they've gone through that area quite a few times. And even old Mr. Big Guy showed up over there. So again, we're at this running point in time of the magic November. And again, these bucks are going to be really amped up because they've been waiting to this point to, exhale and start breeding does. And as long as I can get the does to stay in my area to a certain extent, the better chance I think I have of shooting the big guy, or maybe shooting the strong 6 or the basket 8 that showed up. I seen the basket 8 in this spot, and it just makes me wonder if this stuff is going to be really, really viable. Again, all full disclosure, these people didn't pay me. I'm telling you right now that I'm seeing a couple of different deer that I haven't seen before. Now, again, it could be the rut. These guys could have been coming off other people's property. But the one thing that's encouraging is they're staying where I'm at. And they're not quite, vanishing for 3 or 4 days. They're coming back day after day after day, or every other day. So they're not forgetting about that spot. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to shoot a deer with this stuff. Can't guarantee you're going to shoot deer with Tinks, and I can't guarantee anything in life. but I have tried this. I'm seeing the results. Again, there's another product called Rutting Buck. That stuff it smells worse than this stuff. For human senses. So don't get that stuff on your hand. But I had made a mock scrape before I left the other day, a new one, and tomorrow, unfortunately, if I don't get anything, I'm going to take that Running Buck and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a trail camera out of a spot and I'm going to put it on this mock scrape and I'm going to see who comes visit this mock scrape. And I'm going to put it right there on the tree. I'm going to see how that interacts. If that starts pulling the bucks around, then I'm going to use it. Again, usually when I use scents, it's on strong winded days where I know scent is going to travel. I mean, you can play the thermals all you want. In northwest Indiana, and when that north wind starts blowing off that lake, you know, that's a game changer for the deer. Then they'll really get a consensus of what's around in their area. And the more I can confuse them and confuse their nose, the better opportunity I have of harvesting a deer. So again, nobody's paid me to say this stuff. This is my own personal experience with this stuff. Again, it's called EverCalm. This is the first calming scent. So it's almost like a type of bedding scent. The other Rutting Buck, that should explain it all. You know, it's a rutting deer. So I'm going to give that a shot tomorrow. I'm going to see how that kind of transpires over the next few days when I wipe that on a tree and see the reactions I get from other bucks. Now again, I'm taking a risk. I'm taking a risk here. And I want to put this in full disclosure for myself. If you wipe this on a tree and it starts scaring deer away, I mean, that's the risk you're taking with scents. It doesn't matter what kind of scent, whether it's this EverCalm stuff, Tinks, or Golden Estrus, or anything like that stuff, man. If deer don't like it, or they don't want to tolerate it, they're not going to, and they're not going to visit that spot. So be careful of what scents you use. Be careful of your scent. Again, I'm probably going to use this tomorrow morning. I'll use this EverCalm. I'm going to put it on this branch, and I'll make a video. I'm going to put it on this branch, and I'm going to put it because there's going to be a southeast wind, so it's going to be coming off my face, and it's going to be pouring into this field and this field behind me. The last set of deer that have come through that spot have been coming from behind me. So if I can fool their nose to a point where I can get a shot at them, hey man, I might have another one to throw in the freezer. You know, one's better than none, and two's better than one. So as long as I can keep on going like this, and I can tame my scent as a human being, or at least make it more tolerable for the deer, the better off you're going to be. So again, nobody's made me, you know, say this stuff. This is from my own experience. So take it for what you will. Try it, don't try it. That's all up to you. I'm not getting any kickbacks from this, so it is what it is. But I am going to give this another shot. And then a week or so down the road, I'll let that camera go. Maybe I'll let it go for 2 weeks because there's supposed to be rain coming in. So I'll put it on there tomorrow. The rain's not supposed to start until after midday into the evening. So it'll be fresh on there, and we'll see how well it reacts to some real heavy weather that comes through there. So with all that being said, I'd like to thank my old and my new subscribers and just the people that zip through. I greatly do appreciate it. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do that for everybody you watch on the internets, whatever social media you're a part of. And like always, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.